Two people stand on opposite sides of a valley, so far apart they are barely specks to each other. One puts a finger in their mouth and whistles. The other whistles back. And what just crossed that valley was not a signal, or a code, or a warning. It was a sentence, in Spanish.
In Spanish? You can't whistle Spanish.
You can. 22,000 people live on an island where you can. And here is what got scientists interested. When a fluent whistler hears it, the language machinery in their brain switches on. Not just the part that handles tunes. Their brain files a whistle as speech. The island is La Gomera, one of the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa. Deep ravines called barrancos run from the peak in the middle down to the sea, some of them hundreds of meters deep. So you can see your neighbor's farm right across the gap and still walk hours down one wall and hours back up the other to reach it.
Beautiful and completely impractical.
So the islanders solved it in the air instead. Their whistled language is called Silbo Gomero, and it carries up to about 5 kilometers, 3 miles, straight across the gap, in roughly 15 seconds. The walk takes hours.
Why not just shout? Shouting is loud.
Shouting is loud, but it is wasteful. Your voice smears its energy across a wide, low band of frequencies, exactly where wind and rustling leaves already live, so the consonants dissolve into the noise. A whistle pours almost all its power into one narrow band above that noise, right in the sweet spot of human hearing.
So it is not louder, it is cleaner.
It is both. Around 120 decibels, louder than a car horn, and researchers reckon it carries roughly 10 times farther than a shout.
But how do you get words out of a whistle? A whistle is only ever one note at a time.
That is the clever part, and it is why this is not a code. Nobody assigned whistles to meanings. They took Spanish and stripped it back to whatever a whistle can carry. The vowels become pitch, roughly a low whistle and a high whistle for all 5 Spanish vowels. The consonants become the move between them, whether the pitch slides or jumps, breaks or runs on. The tune is the sentence.
And that actually works?
A finger goes in the mouth to sharpen it, the other hand cups around it to aim it. Hard physical work, but yes. One honest note, because this gets stretched online, Silbo is not its own language. It is Spanish whistled. Squeeze the language through 2 vowel sounds and a handful of consonants, and plenty of words come out sounding alike. So listeners lean hard on context. One researcher put it plainly, no child is born whistling this.
So it is Spanish played on a different instrument.
Exactly, and it is old. The island's first people, the Guanches, were whistling before any European arrived. When Spanish replaced her language in the 1500s, the whistle did not die with it. It got refitted. Same instrument, new words.
So where is the catch?
The 20th century. From the 1950s, the farming economy fell apart and islanders emigrated. Then came roads, so you could drive around the ravine. Then telephones, so you did not need to go at all. And worse than useless, Silbo turned embarrassing, the noise of shepherds and peasants. Parents stopped teaching it to their children on purpose.
That is what actually kills a language.
Every time. By the end of the century, the people who could really whistle were mostly the elderly. And then the island refused. Parents groups started after-school whistling classes. And in 1999, the regional government made Silbo Gomero a compulsory subject in every primary and secondary school on La Gomera. An island school trains the instructors.
Homework. They rescued a language with homework.
They did. In 2009, UNESCO added it to the world's Intangible Cultural Heritage list as the only whistled language on Earth fully developed and practiced by a large community. And now almost everyone on La Gomera understands Silbo. But the ones who can actually whistle it are the people born before the 1950s and the schoolchildren.
Which brings us back to the brains.
It does. In 2005, researchers at the University of La Laguna, one island over, put 5 fluent whistlers and 5 non-whistlers into a scanner and played them Silbo. In the whistlers, the classic language regions lit up, the same territory that handles spoken Spanish. In the non-whistlers, plenty of the brain switched on, but none of the language areas. As one of the team put it, they had nothing to grab onto.
Same sound, 2 completely different brains.
And it goes further. A village in northern Turkey whistles Turkish the same way. researchers tested 31 villagers. Spoken syllables behaved normally, favoring one ear and the left half of the brain. Whistled syllables came through both ears equally, using both halves.
So whistling does not just squeeze into the language machinery. It borrows more of the brain than talking does.
And that is the real payoff. We assume language is a sound, the voice, the words. La Gomera proves it is not. Take the voice away, keep the pattern, and the brain still hears language. A language you can hear from 3 miles off, that nearly died of embarrassment, got saved by a school timetable, and is still bouncing off the walls of a ravine right now. So tell us in the comments, if you had to send one sentence across a valley, no words, just a tune, what would you send? Stay curious. If you enjoyed that, subscribe for more and stay curious.